up with a result set and components of JDBC we have seen in details. So now we'll start about a new book now, which is meant for PHP. Okay, so PHP, hypertext preprocessing, which can also be called as. So this is one of the biggest uh, scripting language which is available for web development, which is used a lot in Facebook. Okay, so many of the applications still run on PHP. Okay, but slowly the applications have been transferring towards Django and Python, towards the libraries of Pythons, but still you can have a good scope in PHP. So let me explain you uh, how what is the important role of PHP is. So in most of the web application, in web development we can use this as an backend programming language. Okay, and it is very simple and easy to learn. Okay, the basic important concept is it's very similar to like C language. Okay, so if you know C programming language, then it's done, that you can feel that you just know PHP. Okay, so like most of the things resembles from your C programming language. Only the difference is it's a loose type language. Can I know what do you mean by loose type language? Means a variable can able to store any kind of value inside of that. Okay, for example, if I create a variable, so I think you are familiar with basics of PHP. Like we can use variables, okay, preceded with a dollar sign. Okay, like a variable name. Okay, so variable name equal to, you can store any value inside of this variable. So when this value will be determined, in the sense it can be determined by a PHP interpreter. So we are having interpreter. What do you mean interpreter is? Interpreter is nothing but it interprets, like in your Java is also interpreter programming language, where it interprets the program line by line. Okay, and the execution can be seen upon the completion of an individual line. Okay, so the PHP is also interpreter. So this interpreter actually uh, tries to run your program. So at the time of running the program, it determines that what value is there, and accordingly it allocates the data type for this particular variable now. Okay, but internally it maintains data type. It maintains data types. Okay, I will let you know this, that at the time of type conversion, okay, we can do type conversions from one type to another type. So at that time I will let you know that how uh, we can able to do that. We do have some type called as a set type and get type, with the help of which you can able to get and set the types of individual data types. Okay, so but here you just try to remember that it's very easy and very simple to learn, and which is most powerful language yet. So I think sir completed the basic constructs in your PHP programming, like uh, conditional statements. What are conditional statements are? Like what you are looked in C programming language, like if else. Okay, then else if, ladder. Okay, and switch. This everything looks very similar to like a C programming language. Like the syntax is similar. Okay, like if I observe if followed by a condition, then an open and close parenthesis followed by a statements which satisfy this true. If it is a true, then this, if these statements lead to true, then you can go with upon this. Okay, so here we can have a multiple statement separated with a semicolon inside of an if condition. So only the difference is that every variable to follow a dollar sign. That's we see the difference over here. Then I think you completed the loops. What are the kind of loops are there? What are different categories of loops are in there in PHP is like whatever you have seen in the previous programming languages, like do while loop, and for loop. We also have a for each loop, for each. So this for each can be used within iterators like arrays. So I think you have completed the basic. What do you mean by arrays? How many types of arrays are there in PHP? So basically there are two types of arrays. One is called as an indexed arrays that we have seen. Normally an indexed array where index start with 0, 1, 2 and so on. Okay, and another one is an associative array. What do you mean associative array? Associative arrays are like an also called as an map arrays or hash map arrays. Okay, which we have indexed values as string. Okay, indexed values can be string now. So apart from zeros and ones, it can have a key value, which with the help of a key you can able to access an associative array. Okay, so to access these particular types of arrays, we can use for each. Okay, so basically your PHP comes and with the two flavors. One is called as procedural programming, and it also comes with a object oriented version of this, object oriented version of PHP. Okay, so there are different versions of PHPs. Okay, but every version to support both the principles. One is procedural programming, which looks very similar to like your C programming, and object oriented version, which is like a C++. So it depends upon the requirement where you are going to use your object oriented version. Okay, but basically we do have all the things in an procedural programming in our syllabus, but we'll also try to complete about this object oriented version, and how to create a classes, how to create some methods inside of a particular class, what is data abstraction, what is polymorphism, inheritance. Okay, and what are all the object oriented principles are there, we have to try to cover all those things. Okay, so this is just a glance at what we have covered so far. So by Santosh sir. So we'll see now today what is an operators are, what are different types of operators that are available in PHP. Okay, upon the completion of this I will introduce you about textbook, and I think you have installed WAMP server. Are you aware of this? Can anyone respond to me?
Yes, sir. Sir told how to install it.
Okay, I think everyone installed. If you are not installed, just go with the WAMP server website and try to download the WAMP server and try to install it. Okay, once you install, then you will get some four components here. So either you can go with XAMPP, XAMPP, okay, or you can go with a WAMP. Both are very similar kind of servers, which will create an environment for us to run your PHP program. So this is W stands for Windows, okay, and A stands for Apache, okay, M stands for MySQL, and P stands for PHP. So actually this is a combination of different softwares combined together to form one environment to run to make our machine as a server. Okay, so with the help of this we can able to do. Okay, so let us see that if you install a WAMP server, then how does it will be. Okay, you will get an 64-bit version or 32-bit version. Just right click and run as administrator and click on S. So this will start an instance of WAMP server, okay, which will have different functionalities. I will just introduce you about that. Okay, so you will get some green color sign symbol like this. Okay, I'm just dragging and I'm dragging it over here so that it can be convenient for me. Now if you see this, there are some local services which are running, which is making me to my machine as a local server. No, just click on that. you will get a different functionalities here. Okay, this is an open source software. Okay, and this comes with like a local host. So when I click on this local host, this page need to get it up. Okay, and it is telling me that Apache of 2.4. Apache is actually an server, which makes our machine to become like a server, and MySQL is a database. No, it has having 5 and 8 version. That is the reason it is stating like this. And it also have an NoSQL DB, that is MariaDB, which is coming with this WAMP server, and it also comes with PHP with both variations of PHP version 5 and PHP version 7. Okay, and these are all the extensions that we call it as in frameworks, which are available with PHP. So these all are loaded now when I'm trying to run this local server. Then all these things are getting loaded. Okay. Now we can click on this PHP information, which generally gives us information about your PHP version. That PHP version is 7.3.21, and which is running on this system of Windows 10. Okay, and it is having a compiler. So the main important thing here is the compiler, which is actually the backend of this PHP, which tries to run the PHP script and try to convert that into appropriate language. So Visual C++ is the compiler trying to run the PHP script. Okay, now this is all about the different configuration that is there. Okay, about our PHP. Okay, so these are different frameworks which are available in PHP, and many different parameters are there, which is actually trying to reserve some memory, which is having to load the memory into our server and so on. These are all, we call it as in parameters, which are associated with PHP. Okay, so time being, if necessary, we'll see some of them, that how these variables can be, like PHP variables can be. Okay, like what is dollar underscore get, dollar underscore request. Okay, and what are all these global variables are available, and how these global variables can be used. Okay, and what are the default values of every individual variables are. It's just trying to show us everything that is a PHP uh, information. This is right. So how can I state that my PHP, I can run my PHP on my machine is, you have to get something like this. Okay, now if you want to access the database, the what is the database is, like I told you, we have worked on Oracle database earlier. Okay, now we'll try to work on another database called as in MySQL, such that you can have a good knowledge on other databases. So you just click on PHP myadmin. Okay, so and give the username as root and password as null, and we are trying to connect to the server choice, whether MySQL or MariaDB. So we'll go with MySQL. Click on go. So it tries to connect to an tool, which is called as an PHP myadmin tool, which is used for administrator purpose. So here you, in the left hand side, you will see some databases which are available. Okay, and the right hand side is, this is the console where you can perform certain operations upon your database. So I can click on a new, and I can create a database here. Okay, we'll see in the next unit that how to work upon this. Okay, just for information, and just telling you all these concepts. Okay, so now my script is ready. I want to write a PHP program now. So what I should do now? Okay, so it's very simple, that what we need to do is, we just need to go where this is installed. Okay, so this is generally installed in C. The WAMP come in a C folder. You can also change while you are installing. So it comes in C drive, like WAMP 64. Why it is 64, can anyone tell me?
64-bit computer.
64-bit compiler.
Yeah, because my WAMP, whatever I installed, is of 64-bit. That is the reason it is 64. Just double click, then you will see all the supporting files and folders which are there for WAMP server. In that, you do have one folder called as an World Wide Web, www. Just double click that. Okay, and you can able to see that there are some supporting files. Don't delete this. Okay, I have created only one folder called as in samples. or you can try to create your own folder, like new folder which can be behaving like a project for me, like grocery store. Okay, so this makes me an empty folder, and it can be group, it can be make like a project now. Okay, how it can be make like project, I can add upon the css files, images, okay, and what are all the scripts which are associated with the grocery store. Okay, javascript files, okay, css and php files, everything we can able to store upon this grocery store. Okay, now so I created a folder called as samples. So how to render to that folder is just simply I need to go to localhost now, localhost, okay, just hit enter, then followed by slash, then samples. Okay, so if you see this, that the directory browse option is available, that is the reason that this directory can be now browsable, in the sense this directory is showing some indexes for me. Okay, this index consists of some file which is for each associate.php, and I can go to the parent directory. If I click on parent directory, again it will go to the host, localhost. Okay, so slash, I'll just give a sample, samples actually. So see that sample, if I give sample, there is no such type of directory. That's the reason that your server will throw in invalid exception, like it's a url not found, okay, on this server. Okay, because this url is not located, so I give it as a samples now. Okay, so very simple thing to do to create a php file is, so it can be embedded in a normal html code. Okay, so how it can be embedded, like I can give it like a php first program. So here, how to write a PHP is question mark followed by a PHP, and you can write upon a PHP script inside of this. Okay, like hello, welcome to PHP programming. Okay, so every statement need to end with an semicolon. Then I want to end this script now. Okay, this script is meant for PHP now. So the PHP interpreter will look for this tag, and this tag is associated with PHP, then it tries to run the statements which are there under this tag. Okay, and it try to produce an output as a part of HTML, and that HTML output will be sent to the client now. Okay, so body HTML. So simply try to save this inside where, inside the folder where your vamp is there, like vamp www. In the samples I want to store this, then just in the double quotes you try to give it as an first dot php double quotes, and okay, and hit enter. Then you can try to refresh this, and you can able to see this, that in the local host in the samples folder you got first dot php, and you can see that if you do have php installed successfully, then the statement where whatever are written under echo will try to run this tell us that this is trying to interpret the line and producing an output. Okay, if you see the page source code, if you try to look for the view page source code, sir, I'm not able to see php code. Can anyone tell me why it is not showing a php code here? It is displaying only the content like a text file now, like a simple html file. Okay, tell me why it is uh, why it is not displaying us with this like PHP and so on. Okay, why? Because the PHP interpreter tried to execute this line and produced an output. That output is replaced over here. That is the reason you can see that welcome to PHP programming. Okay, right. Now we'll move to operators now. That what are all the operators that are available in PHP. Okay, types of operators: arithmetic operator, assignment, comparison, increment or decrement operator, logical operator, string operators, array operators, conditional assignment operator. Okay. Now, if you see carefully, these all operators are very similar, like what you have seen in the C programming language. Is it? So, like you want to do arithmetic addition, then just simple as a plus sign can be used to do the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, and exponential. Okay. So result of raising of x to the yth power can be seen with an exponent. Okay. This is simple arithmetic operators. Assignment operator, which you are also familiar with, like it has a shorthand notation like x plus equal to y. It's try to add upon x plus y and store that into an x. Okay. Similarly, all the operations can be performed upon the assignment operator. Okay. So this we refer to as in shorthand notation, which is there in C programming language. Okay. The comparison operators, this is bit like relational operator we call it as. So if you observe this is equal to operator which is trying to compare both the variables. If x is equal to y, then what will happen? So let us see this. uh, if I try to create an variable, so sir, this environment is not good, then what I should do? I'm not comfort with using notepad. Then what I can use any kind of editor. Use either you can also go with NetBeans. You can try to run your PHP script under NetBeans. That condition is like you need to have your WAMP server installed. Then you can try to communicate from WAMP server to from NetBeans to the WAMP server. I will show in the next class how to do that. It's very simple. Like suppose if I want to store x equal to 10, $y equal to so 20. I want to check whether if $x is equal to $y is true, then I try to echo all x is equal to y. Else echo not equal. Now try to save this, try to rerun this program. Not equal. So say you're not getting any space over here. Why? You know why it's not getting a space? Sorry, a new line. You can use a backslash in here. Okay, can I use backslash n?
We need to use breaks, echo break.
In our
Yeah, that's true actually. Like I need to use br like this slash, because this is no more an normal uh, normal text pad or notepad that where we can backslash can be helpful like a text file, because it's an HTML tag. So that is the reason that you need to separate that with an break. Okay, that I have done over here. Like I want to see a new line, then I can use a break. Okay, suppose print. Can I use print?
yes, sir.
So print also behaves very similar like echo. Okay. Can I use no backslash in here? try to observe that both echo and print is behaving in a very similar way, like so give it in a double quotes. See this, when I try to give in a double quote, then it's even not getting a new line, but this backslash n has been interpreted and it is not actually trying to print it here. Okay, I will tell you the difference between all these things, how the strings will come across the string, then how strings can be helpful and so on. Okay, so we can use print or something like this. Okay, so here identical operator, okay, returns true if x is equal to y and they are of a same type. What do you mean by same type?
Data type.
We don't have any data type, is it? Like if I give it like 10, I want to check this both are equal or not. Okay, is equal to y because both belongs to 10. Suppose if I give this as a 10.0, not equal. Now tell me what happened here is one belongs to what?
Float type,
Float.
One belongs to a
Float
float
type.
type. Another one belongs to
Integer type.
integer type.
integer type. Okay, like get type of $x. So if you see this, the get type, if I try to write a get type, this is generally storing what actually? It is trying to store what? Get type is a method which with the help of which you can get the type of this. So if you observe that get type of $x is returning a double action. So when I store any variable like in a decimal points, I to store under double. Okay. Now if I try to print this like dot, so dot is to concatenate. Here I put up a dot to concatenate both this. Okay, I'm just printing the dollar y type. Okay, one is belonging to double, another one is belong to integer. No, so that is the reason you can try to check this, that one is of what type, double type, and one is of integer type. Hence, even though the values look similar, but the data types belongs to different type. That is the reason that it is saying that it is not equal. Okay, so if I remove this decimal point, then both will belongs to no integer. That is the reason x is equal to y, because both the data types are similar. Okay, this is more important that if you want to check exactly that whether before type conversions or implicit type conversion perform upon an data type, you can try to check this. Okay, with the help of an identical operator, and all others are similar, like not equal to. You can also use not equal to something like this, less than and greater than symbol, and this is from not identical actually. So reverse of this identical operator, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, which are very similar. And this is spaceship operator, returns an integer less than or equal to or greater than 0, depending on if $x is less than or equal to or greater than y. So this is introduced in PHP 7. So let us see that whether this will support in our version or not. So until unless we try this, so it says that whether x is greater and y is greater, that how much amount it is greater, it will try to return us. returns an integer. So it tries to return an integer actually, integer less than or equal to or greater than of 0. Okay, so either less than, greater than, or equal to 0, depending on if a $x is less than or equal to or greater than y. So how much amount it is less than or greater than or equal to y, that much amount it will actually return us. Okay, so to understand this, let us store this in an any value inside of if condition is trying to return and true. So that is the reason it is always returning a true for us. Okay, so $z equal to, storing the output of this, $z. Okay, one, x is greater than of y. Suppose if this is the case, -1, because it is less than of that. Okay, and if it is equal, then it returns a 0. So it is returning 1 or 0 or -1 depending upon the value of x. Okay, and initially it is also depend on the y value. So now it's returning as, because x is greater than of this of 1, since it returns 1. If it is greater, y is greater than of this, then it returns -1. Okay, so either it returns 0, so either it returns 0, -1, or 1, or 1 depending upon the values of either x or y. Okay, so because any non-zero value is always a true, that is the reason that it is stating as like x is equal to y. Okay, if I run so this is a membership operator, sorry, spaceship operator that uh, that compares the values of x and y. Okay, similarly we have membership operator. I will let you know, okay, how dot operator can be membership and as and in operator can be used. Okay, so increment decrement operator, which is similar again, okay, from C programming language. Pre-increment, post-increment, pre-decrement, and post-decrement. Okay, logical operators, which can be combined of two conditional statements. We can use this and, or, XOR, or. So if you observe it here, okay, you can use A and D, or you can use a 2 percentile symbol, and the meaning is same here. Okay. If $x and $y, true if both x and y are true. True if both x and y are true. What do you mean by this? Like you try to compare uh, $x and $z, for example. Okay, so $z depends upon these things. Okay, so now still goes inside of this, that both are true. That's the reason um, it's returning a non-zero value. So it is returning a which is true. So that's true is getting over here. That's the reason you can see this here. Now with $x and $y, in both the same things. Why? Because $x is a integer number which is true. Actually this is also a true. In both the cases it is performing something like this, true and true. Suppose if it is 0, it is 0, not equal. Why? Because in 0 value is equal to false, so both are false and false, then it is returning to an else part. Okay, so it jumps out of this false and false is false, that is the reason it is executing this else part. Okay, so this is very similar like any other programming language, only the thing is you can use and or XOR or you can use a symbol something like this. Okay, string operators. Just now I told you that to concatenate two strings we can use a dot here for concatenation. Okay, so how where I have did a concatenation here, if you observe we have done a concatenation here like dot, and we concatenated both these things. Okay, with the get type and dot followed by a string. Okay, right. Array operators. So these are used to compare the arrays. We can try to compare both the arrays. So how to create an array? How to create an array?
Dollar variable is equal to array of.
We'll see this. I'm stating how we can create an array is dollar a variable name equal to array of 12, 23, 44, 55. Can I create something like this array? Is it an array? Is it an array?
Yes, sir. In single quotes, elements should be.
Element should be in single quote. If it is numbers, then what I should do?
No need of mentioning single quotes.
Okay, like dollar ARR. Okay, so printer is used to print an array. So here this is not a first.php, this is array.php. Okay, now I try to observe that it's try to create me an array. It's very simple, like array is a construct here. Okay, with the help of which you can create an array. Okay, it starts index values like 12, 23, 44 and 55, in which you can print an array. Okay, so printer is a method, so with the help of this method you can print an array actually. Okay, so now it is trying to print both the things, like index as well as value. Okay, at index 0 value is 12, index 1 value is 23 and so on. Okay. So is it an associative array, sir? Is it an associative array or a indexed array?
Indexed array.
This is an indexed array. Okay. So how to create an associative array? Array of
Double quotes index
yeah,
is
index
equal to
between
greater
single
than
quotes or double quotes. Okay, like
index.
you can give uh, as name, like I can give it as a student or roll number. Okay, equal to greater than. This is
Value.
used to make an array, associative array. In the left hand side will be an index and right hand side will be an value. Okay, like B19 CS 061. Okay, comma name. Okay, this name will be an student name. Okay, like ABC, and the same printer can be used to print an associative array. Okay, so that is followed by this associative array now. So here the index is now a string. Index is a string here, and with the help of which there is some values which are printed. Okay. So I want to now compare. I want to concatenate both union. I want to perform a union plus upon an array. Okay. Let us try to do it on associative array first of all, and as well as an indexed array. Okay. Dollar result equal to dollar ARR plus dollar SSOC. Now try to print the result. Whether it's violating the rule or not, we can able to see this, that both indexed array and associative array can be combined together or not with the concatenation symbol of plus, which is can be performed on a it perform a union. Okay, so it need to perform a union upon these things. Okay, now let us see this. So what happened now? Can you tell me? Yes, let us not print this first of all. This is an indexed array, this is an associative array, and I am trying to combine both indexed array and an associative array together, okay, with a concatenation operator. You observe this, at index 0 there is an indexed array up to 3, index position 3, it is an indexed array, then followed by what? Then followed by an associative array. Okay, so internally count of dollar result, it tries to count the number of elements I need to print, is it? You now see that there are 6 elements which are there: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so there are 6 elements, so that is the count of this resultant arrays. Okay, so if I simply use count, it is returning at a count, but I need to use echo as it to print it on a web page. Okay, so that is the reason. So these are just a basic functions which are there in uh, arrays. Okay, or you can normally iterate through with this for each also. Okay, right. So now, so it is trying to make a union upon this both the things. So suppose let us perform this on in both indexed arrays. Dollar ARR1 equal to array of 12, 22, 33, 66. Okay, so instead of making an associative array, I make it a union on this. So see this, like 12, 23, 44, 55, only 4 elements. What happened now? What is the union of this? Do you know union? What do you mean by union on a set theory?
Both
Definition
elements
of one
should be
Both the
combined and repeated should be removed. Repeated elements should be removed.
try to do the union upon the same thing, upon the same array now. Same result. Okay. Dollar ARR underscore one. Again the same result. Okay. So this you need to find it out. Okay. So this is your today's just a small task. Okay. But both the arrays are of same kind. Okay, of the same type. Then like indexed array, both are on indexed array. Then how your concatenation or union is working upon those things. Okay, right. If it is associative array, already shown you how the result will be. Similarly, you have equality, returns true if $x and $y have the same key or value pair. Okay. So it is trying to check both the key as well as the value pair are similar, then it is trying to see the equality. Okay, so like this thing. This is not printer, no, this will be echo. Now if you see that I am trying to perform this on uh, ARR upon the ARR, okay, on the same array. So try to compare the indexed upon the values, means both are same. Is it, this is the same, is it identical? That is the reason it returns 1. Okay. Suppose if I make this also identical, then both it to have the same values. Okay, that is the reason you can observe that the result is 1. Okay. 1 in the sense it is true that both are equal. Okay. Identical. Identity is something but returns true if $x and $y have the same key value pairs in the same order and of the same types. This is more important. Okay, if you also want to check whether the types belongs to same, then you can go with the identity upon an array. Okay. Similarly, not equality, inequality is the same actually, not equal to or not this, and not identical. So these operations can be performed on an arrays. You try to remember these principles. Okay. Then PHP conditional assignment, which is called as an ternary operator or non-pulsing. Uh, so this is introduced in PHP 7. So ternary operator, you are already familiar with C programming language. If the condition is true, then expression 2 will be executed, or else expression 3 will get executed. Okay, now let us see its calls in like if expression 1 double question mark of expression returns the value of x when the value of $x is expression 1 if expression 1 exists and is not null. So if expression 1 do exist and if it is not null, if expression 1 does not exist or is null, then the expression of 2 will be returned. Okay, so this is just to check whether either null is holding upon a one value or not. Okay, then at that time if it is null, then we can going to select some other values. Okay, so if expression 1 exists, then expression 1 will be returned, else the expression 2 will be returned. Okay. So we'll see with a simple example now. what I'm trying to do is every time I'm trying to create a new file by copying the previous file, as that to avoid this writing of HTML and so on. Okay, so you can write PHP for so many number of time, that is also okay, like dollar x, okay, dollar y equal to 10, dollar result equal to dollar x question mark, two question marks, and dollar y. So dollar result. Okay. I'm trying to save this as an second.php. I'm trying to copy this for running of this. Okay, so go to the samples.php. Okay, so it is 10. It is 10. Why it is 10? Because expression 1 does not exist or is null, because expression 1 is null actually. Okay, expression 1 here is $x, which is null. That is the reason expression 2 is returned. Okay, if it is not null, like equal to 1, $x equal to 1, then probably this could have been written the first expression. Okay, so it is a trying to check whether a statement is null or not. If it is null, then we will try to replace that with some other value. Okay, so this is a conditional assignment. So this is about all the operators which are there in PHP. Okay, so tomorrow I'll explain you about forms, how to handle the forms, arrays, and so on. What are different methods which are available in arrays, and how to use those array methods, and so on. We'll see in the next class. If you are having any doubt, you can raise any doubt.